back to the Planet Elevate AI podcast, where we explore how artificial intelligence is reshaping industries and empowering businesses to thrive in new ways. I'm your host, Imran Kadri. Today's episode is a really exciting one. We're diving into the next chapter in AI with Ada Liu, co-founder and CEO of Blueberry AI. Now, Ada's story is fascinating. From starting out as a freelance illustrator and motion graphics designer to leading visual development at NetEase Games to now building one of the most innovative creative tech platforms, Blueberry AI. Ada has seen firsthand how technology and creativity can transform entire industries. She's also a Forbes Business Council member and has lectured at major institutions like Tencent Games, NetEase, and Shanghai Jiao Tong University. And what I love about Ada's journey is how she brings together art, design, and AI innovation to reimagine what's possible for businesses and customers alike. Ada, it's such a pleasure to have you here on the show today. Welcome.
Hi, very thank you for inviting me.
It's absolutely an honor to have you on the show today. If you can just start off, Ada, by just sharing with the audience a bit about your background and your journey from
Mhm.
design to AI leadership.
Yep, sounds good. So I studied art animation. I graduated from School of Visual Arts in New York City. And after that, I worked in MTV a little bit and then joined NetEase Games. And at that time, majority of the game companies in China started to realize, oh, actually, Western market is an important market, and they want to release their games in the Western market. So they opened the North American office. I was the art director of North American office to supervise all the productions the games that released in the global market. And while working at NetEase, I realized that probably a Chinese developer didn't really knowing how to develop the art style that can attract a more conversion rate, click rate into the US market. And the art style is a little bit differentiated from the local users. So that's the reason that I quit my job and started my agency, the Share Creators. And for Share Creators, we're developing art productions for every year top 10 mobile games on iOS or Google Play. For example, like PUBG Mobile, and etc. And while working on the agency, at the peak time, we have roughly around 150 artists. And we realized that handling assets is always a headache because we know the file is in the server, but nobody remember what's the naming conventions was that. Especially when during COVID time, we have so many people and the server is growing really fast and people come and go. Finding files is a headache for us. So we were thinking, hey, can we develop something that we can preview 3D content and using natural language to describe what was in it and then finding the files. So that's the reason that we developed the Blueberry AI as an internal tool. And then after incubating inside our company for a while, our clients started to ask us, hey, can you sell this to us? So that's how we started on the Blueberry AI, which is a digital asset management system that you can find in files with natural language description, and all the 3D files can be previewed online directly without downloading, including Maya, 3D Max, Unity files that you can preview directly without like downloading everything and making Excel sheets in order to finding it. Yeah, that's who we are. And so far, top 20 mobile game companies, more than half of those are using our product to managing their assets.
Brilliant. Sounds fascinating indeed, Ada. Can you just share some examples of games that you might have been behind in terms of
Uh,
creativity?
for example, this year, the new game that we have been working on, PUBG Mobile, is for sure one of those. Diablo Immortal, and Arena Breakout, um, and also Delta Force, uh, Supercell's game, and also Rise of Kingdoms. There's so many titles,
Wow.
so many titles.
Super
Yeah.
Surf, I think Super Surf I can recall. I have someone in my family who has played that game. So that does ring a bell, Ada. Well done. And you mentioned about MTV. So for the listeners and the audience, if you can just give a quick overview on your time at MTV, that would be really great.
Yep. When I was in MTV, I was a motion graphics designer. I started as an intern, so I only worked in there for a little bit and then moved to the game industry because I always like playing games, and I interned in NetEase as well when I was in college. So that's how it started.
Fantastic. That's really, really good, Ada. So, Ada, at Share Creators, you're working right at the intersection of design, gaming, and AI solutions. What's been the most rewarding part of building that ecosystem?
I think it's helping our clients to gain value is the thing that bring a lot of sense of accomplishment. I noticed that enterprise clients focus on three things. Number one, they don't care what we do. They only cares about what type of problem are we helping them to solve. So that's number one question that we need to solve. What type of problem are we helping them to solve? Number two, if they're interested, they would ask, hey, how would you solve it? That's number two thing that we need to explaining to them. That's coming into the features and ROIs. And number three is whether it's worth it or not. So that's the most important thing that we need to calculate for enterprise clients, because when they want to kick off a new project, they need to prove for a company, hey, if this investment is bringing strategic value or improve efficiency or lower cost. So what's the value in there? What's the value proposition? So no matter, I think it's not only applies to the AI product, all the enterprise product need to answer these three questions. Once we answer that, usually clients will accepting the product.
Fantastic. You talked about business problem there or a customer problem. That's absolutely correct, Ada, in terms of adding value. So you've hit the nail there. Really great to hear that perspective. You've been invited to lecture at some of the biggest names in the industry. For example, Tencent, NetEase, and even Forbes. What insights or lessons do you usually like to share with the next generation of leaders?
For the next generation of leaders, I'm not sure about the suggestions to leaders. Usually, what I'm talking about is how to lower the cost and improve the conversion rate for the art production. Because I noticed that especially for game product or software product, rely heavily on user acquisitions right now. Especially companies like Tencent and NetEase spend like hundred millions of dollars on user acquisition ads on Facebook or Google ads. And majority of all the artists, if you notice, that only focused on developing something beautiful, but instead of developing something that we know for sure this one conversion rate or click rate going to be good. So that's what I'm focused on to help companies saving the advertisement costs in order to improve their click rate and conversion rate. Then actually improving even like 10% of the conversion rate of the ads while saving so much money for these large brands. So that's what I'm talked about with them usually, and also our software solutions, how to lower the cost and improve the efficiency. And I think one thing very important that I learned along the way is that always thinking in the way that target users want to see instead of what we want to see, and presenting our game in a way that target user want to play. So changing our positions in target users' shoes. For example, the other side of target users can be like teenagers,
Mhm.
not even go to college yet. And what they like probably very different from like I do, like 30-ish years old women. And a male's perspective, female's perspective, what's the age, where are they located, heavily influenced on the art style and the production. So that's what we usually talked about in the design field. And also how to make sure that when we are designing something target user want to see is the highest efficiency level, how to build up the internal pipeline to ensure that the result. So that's our software kicks in.
Brilliant. It sounds like a user-centric approach, keeping the
Mhm.
user central to everything that you do. Fantastic to hear. Now let's dive into the main topic today, which is
Yeah,
the next chapter in AI.
yeah.
We're going to talk about AI innovation, transforming customer experiences, and even how to overcome budget constraints, something that which you've touched on already when
Hmm.
implementing AI, especially
Hmm.
for smaller businesses. So from your perspective, firstly, what does this next chapter in AI look like? Are we moving past hype and into real practical adoption?
I think for sure I saw majority of the enterprise clients really focused on the returns. If they, it's not like 2 years ago, anything related to AI, they would adopt it immediately. That's for sure. So I think number one thing is that enterprise clients will calculate on the for sure, and they would adapting this step by step. They would test if this works or not, and then expanding the skills. So that's another thing that for entrepreneurs, that if you want to develop a tool for certain industries, make sure that you understand fully about their entire pipeline, how they managing their works internally right now, and then developing the tool solving specific questions. I think that the next few years, the AI probably would be more conversational based, where less and less would be requiring UI, UX, like the interface, like there's a lot of drop downs and stuff. That's last generation's product. I think it's gonna be more conversational based. And also there's a three key thing for AI: computing power, algorithm, and data. Computing power, NVIDIA, that everybody know, and algorithm, a lot of open source, DeepSeek, and APIs that everybody using. Data is another thing that very important for enterprise clients, because the highest barrier for enterprise clients within every industry is the data. It's an artificial barrier instead of technology barrier, because if the clients is not sharing the data, then how you get those? So who utilize their existing data well will be the winner. For example, those unstructured data, so many terabytes just staying in the server. Are we utilizing those? So data is another thing that very important. So whoever built up the infrastructure to managing all of their data well and subtract all of the value from it, for example, doing competitor research, trend research, then they will be the winner. That's what I think. And also utilizing this data to predict the engagement from customers, from users. That's another very important use cases for clients.
Fantastic. Sounds like it's going to be a very, very valuable time with AI in the next chapter with all the lovely things that you've talked about there. Really great to hear the role data can play.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Now, you've talked about building personalized and engaging experiences. How do you see AI changing the way businesses interact with customers? You mentioned about an engaging interaction between the user and the platform or the business in terms of a conversation. Tell us a bit more about that if you can.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So for the customers, instead of like the traditional e-commerce or online experience, for example, product management experience, that you provide a standardized product and giving to clients, forcing clients to adapting and using our existing flow. I think in the future it's gonna be reverse way. So different organization or different clienteles will have their own experience based on their personalized data and also the predictive AI. So, for example, the AI would analyzing on user experience, what they liked before, what they bought before, and what was the conversation with the salespeople before, and recommending product based on their preference. I think the product that already doing this really, really well is TikTok. And there's a battle in between the US and China government is for the algorithm, whether they're gonna sell the algorithm. This is the centric part, because their prediction is very accurate. So that's already a proof the use case. What if that you have a personalized shopping AI agent that helping you to do so. And also that's the reason we released a new product that is called Peakwise for shoppers, is helping you recommending product and also compare different product in a easy to understand language. And also for professional users, this product can help you compare the competitors information and finding out the design trend, the design opportunities. So that's what we think the direction would head into. And who can win this on accurate prediction? Then that's for sure biggest player in the market.
Fantastic. It's going to be very competitive, isn't it? We have a plethora
Yep.
of tools already and algorithms, like you mentioned. It's going to be really
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, now over to budget and resource constraints. For many small and mid-sized businesses, the
Yeah.
challenge isn't wanting to use AI, it's finding the budget and resources. What's your advice for leaders trying to balance ambition with reality?
Yep. I think always the number one thing analyzing where's the pain point, and also AI is very good on repetitive tasks. So finding those pain point, exalting a lot of resources, and also repeat processes. So replace with AI is gonna be the fantastic use case. We have a retail clients that need ask employees to adding tags to all of their product. For example, what's the latest trend? What's this clothes called in the style wise? They ask human beings to add like 100, 200 tags onto the product. So this is a very good use case. We train the AI to adding tags to those product. So replacing those parts that tedious repetitive is a good start. And also start with a small project and prove the ROI, then expand is also a very important thing. Like to see like how much human resources spending on this product before and how much we spent on AI. And AI is very good at speeding it up and continuously delivering. So that's also a very important insight. And also, it's not like adding a new budget to the project, it's shifting your existing spending from human salaries to technology, more reliable technology. That's a very important thing. And also, we focused on three industries: game, automobile, and also retail. So for automobile, they are using our product to managing 3D assets and then using natural language to finding those car parts. And I had a chance to visiting a lot of like car factories in Asian market. A lot of the factory is like a no light factory. There's no people working in there, so they do not need to turn on the light anymore, all robots. So that's the reason the production is really, really fast and reliable. Compared with like US market, if you saw, like there's always crunch time on producing this car and it's delayed on shipping. So that's another proof use case that AI and robot is doing really well on certain field. But I don't think that AI will be taking all the jobs. It's not working in this way, but it's for sure taking certain jobs. So it's like industrial revolution. AI will take in certain people's job. So we, as a human being, we need to shift our skill sets in order to adapt.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think there's some cases where AI will eventually replace the human effort, but for now, I think it's more about amplifying it. It's about how the human
Yeah,
creativity could work alongside the AI technology. If you
yeah,
can just share some perspective on that, given your background in design and visual storytelling, how
yeah.
do you see AI working alongside human creativity?
Yeah. Number one thing very important is AI will not replacing all the illustrators or designers. That's for sure. It's gonna replacing certain tedious steps. So, for example, when I just joined a game industry, there's a work that I hate really so much is resizing the image design that we do. Like you need to resize that to square shapes on Instagram, resize it on Facebook in a rectangular shape, and on our website is like strange shapes that you need to reshaping those, recomposition it. So AI is very good on those type of repetitive tasks. So as the things that we talked about in other industry, same thing apply to game industry. And also it's gonna speeding our design explorations. So majority of the art production that we do right now, we generate it in AI first to see which direction that we think we can explore. Previously, one very good artist probably can only do 3 sketches per day. Right now can AI can generate like tons of sketches for us immediately, so we can choose the direction. Then it's helping us speeding up the entire process and give us more creativity choices. And then after that, for example, in polishing stage, using AI to generate a polish, and then human beings tweak on the top, also saving us a lot of time. So it's not like AI replacing the entire pipeline. It's impossible for now. Replacing certain steps, speeding up the process, doing a wonderful job for us. So that's how we see AI in the creativity field. But there's a problems for artists is that with the help of AI, the demand for art directors would be higher, experienced designers. So for example, I generated tons of sketch, which one is good to proceed. That's rely on experience. The creativity field would need more art directors who have experience. However, all the art directors grow up and gain knowledge from the experience. Like they started as a junior and then grew up and gain experience. It's really hard for juniors now because all the juniors' work are some of the parts replaced by AI. And then I think there would be a gap in the future that junior people really hard to gain knowledge and then they cannot break into the industry and the existing people stay there forever. So there would be a gap in certain point, I think.
Okay, fascinating. Thank you so much for that perspective there.
Mhm.
You mentioned this previously about sales and marketing. You
Yeah.
talked about the most effective use cases for AI, such as personalization, customer engagement. If you can do a deep dive into content creation, because I know you mentioned TikTok earlier, but if you can just talk about content creation in the context of animation, illustration for gaming, that would be fantastic. What role do you think, what gaps might there be with sales and marketing
Mhm.
in the user cases for AI in content creation?
And for content creation, there's a lot of Gen AI product. Nano Banana is actually one thing that we're very excited about because consistency is very important thing for creativity field. Let's say League of Legends, everybody buys skin from them, and if they released a new skin, with previous AI, the problem is that oh, this character not looking at like this character anymore, and that's a problem. So consistency is a very important thing, and Nano Banana solved it really, really well. I think that's a exciting news. And for closing the gap in between marketing and sales with creativity is that I think it's not related to which tool that we are using. It lies onto the foundation, like who is the target user, what they like, and how do we know for sure they like this? It relies on data analytics. For example, for marketers, the general approach is that we guess this group of user from 35 to 40 years old likes a certain topic, likes a certain style, but that's a ballpark guessing. It's not accurate. That's the reason that ads wasting so much money on user acquisition. Right now, with the help of AI, with the conversational data, their previous buying experience, and also what type of product that they browsed, we can have a rational guess on what they would buy in next step. So that's a very important thing. That's the same thing with car design. Like for example, right now the car design need to assign like an intern or junior to gather all the data on social media. For example, like Imran, your age group, what type of car would you buy? Probably you have kids. You would buy a 7 seats because you need to send in the kids to school and need more space. That's a very ballpark guessing. It's a rational guessing, but probably not accurate. For example, what's the third row? How do you design the third row of the seat? Very hard to get in, and how to make it comfortable. What clients liking it? So that's the AI can kick in. It can gather all the data from social media on like what clients commented on that, which car sell really really well, what features that user really like it, and predict based on how much, for example, how much stuff that you bought from supermarket this week, how much space that you need for storage. Then the design would be really fitting for individuals, fitting for majority of this age group. So that's the AI part helping designers. That's what we do in the Blueberry AI's agent that helping to finding all the data from internet and then get a very rational design decision.
Fantastic. Okay, it's been a really fun episode today. Before we wrap up, we have some quick fire round questions. They're very short, but we're looking
Mhm.
for some fun answers, if that's okay. If you weren't working in AI and tech, what other career path would you be in, Ada?
Probably I would be an engineer because as a designer, sometimes I can come up with product design ideas, but I cannot write code by myself. And my co-founders, they are engineers, good engineers. They can write that. But I'm always curious and want to build up the product. Probably in like 2 years, I don't need to learn code anymore. AI can help you write the code.
Perfect. What's one book, podcast, or piece of art that's inspired you recently?
The book, I would highly recommend Shoe Dog. That book is really awesome. Written by Nike founder. A really fun book. You can see that all the entrepreneurs experience hardships. There's a lot of problems that you need to solve every day. Sometimes when I encounter difficulties, I feel like, oh, am I the only one experiencing this? Like, why this is so hard? And looking back on other entrepreneurs or the whole cohort that from our VC, that I noticed everybody experience somewhat hardship. So don't feel like it depressed because everybody are experiencing the same thing. And as long as we are keep doing this every day and make sure overcoming this and solving the problems, then we will have a good result ultimately.
We'll include the title below. Okay, it's called Shoe Dog. Fantastic.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you could describe the future of AI in just one word, what would it be?
One word. I would say data. Who got the most data would win the war.
Okay.
Because algorithm wise, everybody are using the similar algorithm right now. And the technical barrier is not sustainable. I think there's only like half a year to a year to catch up. But the data wise is the thing that very important for everybody. Like because if this enterprise clients do not give you this data, you never can get it.
Bit like the fuel. So
Yeah,
it's the fuel for something big. Brilliant. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Fascinating, really rich episode today. Thank you so much, Ada, for your insight, your
Hmm.
valuable perspectives, and your energy levels. Really appreciate you having you on the show today. It's
Hmm.
been a really inspiring conversation for our listeners, for our viewers. I really appreciate the way you've shared not just the opportunities of AI, but also the practical challenges of making it work, especially
Hmm.
for companies with limited resources. For our listeners, I'll drop a link to Share Creators and Ada's work in the show notes below. Ada, is there anything you want to share about how the audience can find you online?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, Liu, Liu, on LinkedIn, or email me. It's ada@sharecreators.com. And our website is blueberry dash AI.com. So that's how you can finding me online.
Brilliant. So if you're curious about how AI, creativity, and business can come together, Ada is definitely someone to follow. Ada, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for the interview. And thank you so much, Imran, for hosting this.
Brilliant. It's been a fascinating conversation. This is Imran Kadri, and you've been listening to the Planet Elevate AI podcast, elevating you to success. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you so much.